Hey there, if you're struggling with getting professional mixes in Cubase, let me show you my step-by-step process I use to get pro vocal mixes and masters in Cubase. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So the first you have to do is make sure you set your tempo, and if you don't know how to set your tempo, just simply upload it to this website, tunebars.com/analyzer, and to tell you your key and your tempo. So you can see our key is B major and our tempo is 119. All right, so let's come back to Cubase, and then I'm going to come to the insert right here, and I'm going to tune the vocals first. The reason I like tuning my vocals first is that it's easier to work with a well-tuned vocal for longer mixes than, trying to do your EQ and compression first. So I'm going to come to waves, tune real-time stereo. I always like using stereo effects because I may end up using some stereo effects down the line. So that's why I use it. It doesn't necessarily change your mix. So I'm going to come to B major. Remember I just said the key was B major. So I'll come to major. This is just simply, how fast do you want the correction to happen? So I want it to happen pretty fast. And then this is the transition. Now, do you want it to be more relaxed and natural, or do you want it to be more auto-tuned-ish? So let's listen.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. My love, you can't wait on. For me, oh baby, Carlo shaking it con, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you.
All right, so I think that's sounding pretty good, and that's pretty much that for tuning the vocals. Then the next thing we have to do is clean up the vocals. Now, if you notice, the vocals has some background noise and the vocals has some distortion to it while we're recording. So this can be fixed. So if we listen,
if you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
You can hear some background noise. We need to take them out. So first of all, use RX, voice the noise, and all you have to do is make sure it's on adaptive mode, and it's going to clean your vocals properly.
You
can hear how much cleaner it sounds now.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
So the next one to do is fix the distortion. So I'm going to come to RX again, and I'm going to come to the clip. So the clip will help fix the distortion. So I'm going to set the quality to medium. This plugin contains a lot of CPU power, so you have to be careful on how you use them. You may need to render them as you go. So, but I think I can work with this. I just simply drag this in so that, it corrects it more.
Yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh, yeah. I'm a bad man to feel butterflies.
Much better. So next what we're going to do is remove clips and mouth movement. So let's come to mouth declick, which is common in most vocal recordings. Most times you don't have to set this, just simply leave it as is and it should just work fine. And then the next we want to do is fix breath. Okay, so RX breath control. Now, the guide for this is you may want the breath to be more obvious. You may want the breath to be taken out completely. The vibe is totally up to you. There's no rule or way you must do this. But for now, I'm going to minimize the breath as much as I possibly can because I want a clean mix.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. My love,
perfect. So now we are done with cleaning up the vocal. At this point, I recommend you render your vocal and continue your mix, especially if your CPU is not very strong. But for me, I can pretty much keep up, so I can turn the beat back on.
My love, you can't wait on. For me, oh baby, Carlo shaking it con, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh, yeah.
And the next I can do is use a compressor to compress the vocal. So let's use the Cubase compressor. So I'm going to come to this compressor right here. Now you can use any basic compressor for this. The aim of this compression is to keep the vocals consistent. All right. So I'm going to come right here and I want to get a gain reduction of, 3 to 7 dB. Okay. You could be a bit more or less for your own case, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But I want to have like a really tight pop vocal style mix. So
all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh, yeah. I'm a bad man to feel butterflies, baby. Yeah. Now you cool me down, baby.
Now that's sounding pretty good. So let's use an EQ and clean up some unwanted frequencies. So I'm going to just type EQ. And I like using the GEQ, that is the graphic equalizer from Cubase, the OG stock plugin. Typically, I like to clear off anything less than 100 Hz most times. So just to remove that muddy low end. And then from 100 Hz and above, I like to take care of resonances, okay, and harshness. So let's listen.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me.
Simply want to boost a little bit and then you cut.
Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you.
Hey there, before we go any further, I want to let you know that I do offer one-on-one private coaching where I'll teach you personally how to make beats or how to mix and master professionally. So all you have to do is contact this WhatsApp number on your screen and let's get to know each other and see how I can help you achieve the goal and the results that you actually want. So without wasting any more time, let's get back to the lesson. So it sounds a lot better. Now, if you have any harshness, you can simply reduce the highs a little bit. Or if your vocal is too dark, like if you're using the SM7B mic, you can do some boost right here to reclaim some brightness. But I think this is pretty good on flat. So I'll just simply continue to the next step, which is a plugin that I used to remove or minimize resonance. And I like to use Silk Vocal from Waves. Now you have to be careful how you use this plugin because sometimes it can make your vocals feel too light or too thin. So I just simply reduce the mids, right, and the lows as well, and then most times I set the high on this.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. You dey make bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. You dey make bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, only fair gone. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá.
So you can hear that it's sounding pretty good. And the next thing I'm going to do is add a serial compressor. For that, I like to use the LA76 or LA2A. You can use pretty much any compressor you like, especially the ones suited for vocals, but I'm going to use the LA76. I don't want the vocals to be too bright, so I'm going to use this. For this, I'm going to go a little bit more extreme, maybe between -5 to -10 dB of gain reduction, because again, I'm trying to get that modern pop vocal mix that sounds a little bit over compressed and, you know, clean. So
if you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan.
And I'm going to use a higher ratio.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi kan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby.
Now the reason why I chose the Bluey version is that it can make the vocals sound a bit more aggressive, can make it sound a bit more upfront, because the Bluey version has a little bit more saturation to it, okay? So
oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you.
And if you notice, I keep doing like a gain match, like let the before and after be kind of similar so I can really hear what's going on. What a lot of people get wrong with mixing is that they think louder is better, because many times the plugins tends to make your vocals louder, but that doesn't always mean it makes it better, okay? So when I do it before and after and the vocal levels are the same, I can easily hear the changes that truly happened. So
onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, má lọ fi more, baby. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn.
So it's sounding pretty good so far. Then I'm going to let's use the SSL EQ to clean up some frequencies as well and just do some simple excitements on the vocal. So for the low frequencies, I'm going to take it to about 150, and then I simply do a cut.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
Next, I'm going to come to the mids. I'm going to work on the mids as well. Let's make it a bit more broad and then do a little bit of cuts around 700. 0.7 just simply means 700, okay? Because it's basically rated in the thousands, okay?
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
Okay, let's do a little boost on here.
Show more. My love,
sounds more present right there. Then let's do a little shine in the high end, come to the high frequency and do a little boost as well. So I think the compressor is working a little bit too hard, so I'm going to relax it. Okay, let's come back here.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. My love, baby, all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah.
And then let's go back to the breath control because some breath has started to pop up. So let's clamp it down some more.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
All right, so next we're going to add a little bit of body back to the vocals because we're kind of losing some weight. So I like to use Magma channel strip stereo, and I'm going to come right here and I'm going to increase the drive just to have more body.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. My love, oh baby, all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh.
Since it doesn't have an input knob, because I can't find the input knob, I'll simply reduce the output knob again, trying to make sure that the before and after is the same, okay?
Baby, show more. My love, show more.
Okay, let's come back to this EQ. I think it's taking out a little bit too much, so I'm going to relax this as well. So the thing with mixing, you have to like always be paying attention to the before and after, you know, what's changing in your song, so that, you know, you just don't over process the vocals. I'm going to relax. I think the cut was too much here, and let's bring it from 150. Let's take it to maybe 115 or 120.
My love, for me, oh baby, nice baby, yeah. Now you cool me down, baby. Mommy.
All right, that's sounding pretty good. So now let's add some reverb and delays. Let's start by adding delays first. So I'm going to come right here, add effect track, stereo. So let's use stereo delay, and then we just name this lead vox delay send. Okay, this will be as a send. We'll come right here, scroll to send, turn it on. Now, the first thing you have to make sure you do when you're using send is that make sure the mix is always at 100% wet. You don't want to have the drive, now the vocal will just sound louder. Then, since this is a stereo delay, that means the left side will have a different delay timing and the right side will have a delay timing. So that just gives it a wider, a more stereo feel. So I'll simply come right here and let's use a quarter beat here. And then maybe here we use an eighth. And then you can simply adjust the feedback. This is just like you doing delay twice, okay? Simply reduce the feedback because you may not want too many bounce on the vocal. And then we can adjust the frequency range is going to delay. So I like to high pass a lot of the time so that, you know, it doesn't distract you from the main vocal, all right? And then you may not want a hard pan, so I'm going to relax the pan a little bit, And another reason why I like using the stock plugin for delay and reverb in Cubase is that I can easily just click the sidechain. But when I click this, for example, you can see this right here, activate sidechain, and I click this arrow and I can simply add the sidechain source. You can see my lead vocals, easy peasy, and it's done. So you can see it's active. So when I press play, so I think the loudness of the delays is a little bit too much. So I'm going to reduce the send.
I want you to make bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah. Now you cool me down, baby. Mommy. jẹ́ ká jọ wà mami, no be paparazzi. Kawasa, kawasa, kashama kawa. Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love.
Let's also adjust the words here.
Get me my love, he can't wait come. For call me, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. I'm a me bad man.
Now I can increase the words some more.
I'm a me bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby.
So let's hear with the beats.
Me money fair come. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, he can't wait come. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. I'm a bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Sumo me. No be papara.
Let's add a reverb. So I'm going to come to audio track. So I'm going to right click right here, then come to add effect track. I'm going to use FabFilter Pro R because I just like using FabFilter Pro R. So you can use any reverb you like. Lead vocal reverb. And then we have that. The mix, remember, it should always be at 100%. And we're going to come to the settings now, which I recommend use a reverb calculator to get good reverb for your vocals. So all we have to do right here is type our tempo in this reverb calculator, and you see these figures. So we're going to use, let's use a large reverb. Let's try Hall. So 63 and 3.9. Most reverb calculators are in 3.9 seconds, not milliseconds in the decay time. So this would be 3.97, which is basically 4. So let's just say 63 ms and 4 seconds. So let's come back here. So you can see that 4 seconds, and then the pre-delay time 63 ms. We'll go back to the vocal and adjust the send. Let's listen. So we'll come right here and we'll create a send lead vocal reverb, and then we'll turn it on.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
All right, so now let's work on the backup vocals, and we're simply going to create a bus so that we can easily effect them. You simply select them by pressing Command and Shift, or Control and Shift, then you right click, and then you come to Add Track, and then you come to Group Track to selected track. Then you simply do that, and then you name it Backup Bus. All right, so that means they're all going to be playing through this backup bus. So if we turn them on,
if you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, he can't wait come. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe.
So you can see that it controls that. So all I have to do now is tune the vocals first. I recommend you tune them separately on their respective channels first before you start processing on the backup vocals. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm simply going to come to tuning, real-time stereo. Same thing, major, I think it was B major. And then now I always recommend sometimes for backup vocals, you want to tune it a little bit more aggressively sometimes.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, he can't wait come. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. I'm a bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Sumo me.
Now I can start working on them. I can come to voice the noise. So I'm going to come to RX again, voice the noise, clean up the vocal, and then I'm going to come right here again, and then compressor. Just make sure it's consistent. But this time I'm not going to use the regular compressor. I'm going to use a LA2A. So let's use an LA2A, because I don't want the backup vocals to sound too compressed. I want to have a little bit of freedom. So I'm going to come to LA2A stereo, and
if you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, he can't wait come. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Oh shit, yeah. All the girls in the world, I still choose you.
So I already had the backup vocals panned during the recording session, so I'll reduce that a little bit and also reduce the volume.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi, my love ìkànwé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, jẹ́ ká jọ wà, mami.
So now let's use an EQ to fix that. And for EQ, I'll be using the Sharp 73, my favorite EQ. So set the high pass at 160. Now, how you EQ backup vocals is a bit different from how you EQ lead vocals. Most times you don't need to really bother about resonance that much, unless if it's like super obvious. But here I'm just going to do a simple cut up until 110 again, then do some cuts about -3 dB, and then set my high pass at 160. Make sure your high pass is engaged, okay? And for the mids, you don't really need to do much on the mids and the highs, you know, just simply do a cut so that it has less body than the lead vocals. That's just pretty much that.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi, my love ìkànwé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, jẹ́ ká jọ wà, mami.
So I don't think the compressor is doing a lot of work. So let's increase it some more.
Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi, my love ìkànwé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, jẹ́ ká jọ wà, mami. Ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, jẹ́ ká jọ wà, mami.
Then next we're going to add a reverb for the backup bus. So I'm going to come to add effects track, and yeah, we can still use Pro R, and we can pretty much use the same setting for 63. Yeah, so we can use 63, and then make sure again the mix is 100%. So we send the backup bus. Let's rename it backup just to keep our session organized.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi, my love ìkànwé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you.
Sometimes what I like to do is I like to EQ the reverb so that it sounds cleaner. So I'm going to load up an EQ. Let's use the studio EQ. You can use any EQ, okay? Just an EQ to remove the modulo, and most times I take it to about 500 hertz.
Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Súnmọ́ mi, jẹ́ ká jọ wà, mami. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi, my love ìkànwé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn. All the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah. Ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah, yeah. Now you dey cool ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀.
Sorry, baby, daddy. I'm a Kawasaki. Kawasaki. Kashaba Kawasaki.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
Sorry, baby, daddy.
I'll give you more, baby, show more.
Let's come to the reverb send for the lead vocals. I think I also need to EQ that as well because it's sounding too heavy. So let's come to studio EQ, and we just simply cut that. Then
ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still choose you. Oh yeah, ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies baby yeah yeah. Now you dey cool me down baby súnmọ́ mi jẹ́ ká jọ wà má mi.
No be paparazzi.
So let's listen to how the mix sound before we get into the mastering.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still choose you. Oh yeah, ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies baby yeah yeah. Now you dey cool me down baby súnmọ́ mi jẹ́ ká jọ wà má mi.
So now we can export this audio mix down. So make sure it's in single and make sure it's stereo out. And let's reinsert it back. So create audio track. So I think everything is all set. So you can just copy my settings if you want to export your mix as well. But you may change this if you recorded or mixed at a different sample rate, but mine is at 44.1. So you can just simply click start or export audio. And then just be patient for it to export. All right, so it's done exporting. Just simply click OK and bring it back in there. So let's bring it all the way down here and we solo it. So let's compare the mixed and the unmixed, okay? So we may need to do a little bit of gain matching. Yeah. So this is how the unmixed sounds.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still choose you. Oh yeah, ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies baby yeah yeah. Now you dey cool me down baby súnmọ́ mi jẹ́ ká jọ wà má mi.
Now let's listen to the mixed version.
Èmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still choose you. Oh yeah, ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterflies baby yeah yeah. Now you dey cool me down baby súnmọ́ mi jẹ́ ká jọ wà má mi.
So you can hear the difference. I try to preserve the original artist's performance. I didn't try to change it too much. But yeah, so that's pretty much how it's sounding. And let's get into the mastering, okay? And we'll come to the inserts. First thing I like to do when I'm mastering is that I like to use an EQ. So I'm going to use Ozone's equalizer. You can use, again, any equalizer to do this. So let's remove some low end. Let's create some points first. Come right here. Type. Let's do a flat. Then we can expand it so it's not so like steep. And I like to sweep between 20 and 35 to 40 hertz max. Basically, the more low end you take out, you kind of get more loudness. So
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more.
So if you want more brightness on your master, you can simply boost the high end a little bit.
ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan.
So I want more depth, so I'm going to just chalk the mids a little bit.
fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still choose you. Oh yeah, ọmọ ilé mi bad man to feel butterfly.
I'm going to use a compressor to just, smooth it a little bit. So let's use SSL compressor stereo. So I'm going to do just a slight compression, nothing crazy.
Èmi mo ní fẹ́rẹ̀ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi má lọ fi kan wé kan fọwọ́ kan mi ò bébí ká lọ ṣe kinní kan kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn all the girls in the world I still.
Let's use a different compressor. I don't like this one right now. Let's use LA76. Some people may argue, oh, LA76 is not for mastering, but like one thing with mixing is so long as you know just what you're trying to get and you know the tool that can give you that and you're familiar with it, so just use that, right? So I would just want -1 to worst case -3 dB of gain reduction, nothing crazy. So
if you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, ìkan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn, all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh,
nice. Next, I'm going to add a limiter. So I'm going to use L2 stereo. Let's see if I can use L2 stereo and just make it much louder. I like to set my ceiling at usually -1. The threshold just simply takes how loud it gets. And for us to monitor the loudness, we simply have to have a loudness meter. So I'm going to use wave loudness meter stereo, and then we'll listen.
If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, ìkan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn, all the girls in the world, I still choose you.
So you can see I'm currently hitting at -9.5 and -0.5, which is not bad at all. Let's bring this down a bit more.
Oh yeah, I'm a little bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Sumo me, yeah, kájọ. Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, ìkan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn, all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah, I'm a little bad man to feel butterflies, baby.
So it sounded pretty good. Let's hear it from the top.
Onítèmi mo ní fẹ́ gan. If you give me love, I'll give you more, baby, show more. Ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀kẹ́ mi, my love, ìkan wé kan. Fọwọ́ kan mi, oh baby, ká lọ ṣe kinní kan, kinní yẹn ò wá. Ó ṣe yẹn, all the girls in the world, I still choose you. Oh yeah, I'm a little bad man to feel butterflies, baby, yeah. Now you dey cool me down, baby. Sumo me, yeah, kájọ wà, mami.
And that's pretty much it, how you mix and master in Cubase. You can simply export this using the same settings used to export your mix, and you have your mastered song you can upload on streaming platforms, or if it's a cover song like this, you can simply add it to your videos and you get a professional sounding cover. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials, tips, and tricks. Cheers.